Welcome back to another episode of the MacRumors Show. Hartley, how's it going? How are you feeling? You feeling good?
Yeah.
Good, because we have a very special guest today. Sara is back. Sara Dietschy, back on the episode or on the podcast for what, a second time, which is
Thanks
which
for
is
having
good.
me, guys.
Yeah. So obviously, there's a lot to catch up on. It's been a while since we've last spoke. Let's start with the obvious. Have you had time to mess around with the new products, the new iPhone 15 and Apple Watch and all that?
I mean, it's been a unique tech-tober because I kind of like opted out of it this year because I've been doing it probably for 5 years now, and I was just like, you know what, I'm kind of tired. So I still have, the products and stuff and having fun, and I still have the opinions. So that's why, hey, it might be fun. I need to do more podcasts because my opinions really haven't gone in any videos. So I'm excited to chat.
Hey, that's good. This is exclusive.
Exactly.
So which one did you go with? What did you start off with when you picked up the new iPhone?
Yes. So I went with the iPhone 15 Pro, the normal size. I tried the Max last year because just the battery life has been terrible. For me personally, the iPhone 13 Pro was just the GOAT. It was perfect. Like battery life, the combo of features, the cameras, I was like, okay, this is great. We don't need to change more. And then with the iPhone 14, just the battery life and the always on display, I think I kept the always on display off for the majority of last year. And that helped the battery life a little bit, but still my battery life was terrible. And that's why I tried the Max. But I don't know, do y'all use the Max? It is so big. It feels like I'm carrying around an iPad mini with me.
It is too big. Which I know it's a bit of a controversial view in the Apple community now. I feel like everyone goes with the Pro Max, but I love the smaller size.
I feel like the trendy hip thing is going for the Pro, which is what you two are doing.
Well, I think it's becoming trendy.
I like to
now,
live dangerously with the
tired of the bigger version. Maybe it's starting, but the battery life is pretty terrible. That is the trade-off you're going with, and obviously no 5 times telephoto zoom as well this year. But I'm not too worried about that personally.
Oh, you should be worried about it, Hartley.
Why is that?
I mean, they look great, like some of the portraits.
It's so good. It's so good.
But how
but I
far
will
back
say
do you need to stand to get those?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not that bad. It's just a
take a few
nice
steps.
30 to 40 feet away.
I will
No,
say,
honestly, it really wasn't that bad.
I use the ultra
Go ahead,
wide
Sarah.
more than anything, and that is the camera that Apple just doesn't care about. I was expecting more of a facelift for the ultra wide, and I think what you're saying, Hartley. The telephoto and the combo of having portrait mode, I really didn't see anything that needed to be fixed there. But I don't know about y'all, but I use the ultra wide all the time. And we haven't gotten improved. They say, okay, we tweak some stuff with the software, improve low light performance, but still, every time you switch over to that ultra wide, it's not the best. I would love, imagine the quality of the normal wide in the ultra wide. Holy crap. That would be insane.
Why are you using the ultra wide so much? Do you is it because you just take pictures of it's just I don't think I've ever used it.
No, I think
Besides
I'm the same.
testing the ultra wide.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the ultra wide, it's just such a different perspective that you get something different. So if I'm taking a picture of my cat, I could take a step back, but that's not going to give the extreme version of his big paws when I get super close, because you can get very close and macro vibe. So what I think the ultra wide is so great at is just giving you a different perspective regardless of where you're standing. But with portrait mode has gotten so good, and the normal wide is just so beautiful on, the iPhone 14, that a lot of the telephoto stuff, you get to a certain point where it doesn't really change, I feel like, the actual essence of the photo, if that makes sense. But that's purely just my opinion. Like hearing you say you never use ultra wide, I'm realizing that okay, maybe I'm the weirdo. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not trying to make you feel weird, because I'm sure I'm the weird one out of this, but I don't know that I've ever, like, aside from like, oh, I need to like take a large, a photo of a large group of people or something. I don't know that I've
Right.
ever used the ultra wide on a regular basis.
Do you have
Hartley, what about
pets?
you? I do. Is that like good for pets?
I mean, it makes them look so fun and cartoonish. Like my cat who like he'll be like laying on me and his paws will be like super close, and you like turn your phone, do a cool ultra wide. I don't know. Hartley will be the tiebreaker.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think all of us seem to like a different lens, because I love the telephoto. I use the telephoto for everything.
Okay.
That's why I'm kind of glad to not have the
Interesting.
5X, because I don't feel like I could use it so much.
You just don't like
okay.
the focal. You can use it though. That's the thing. Is it's so good that even if you like adjusted and like went in between well, I guess there is no 3X, so you can make a digital 3X is what I'm getting at though.
Yeah, but it's
And,
digital and it looks different. I don't know what it is
still
with the
fine.
There's something
It's still-
about it that I can tell that the focal length looks different. The faces look different to me and less
Yeah.
pleasing. It's
That
not always
is a good
appropriate, but it's
point.
just like, I don't know. I love the telephoto. I even like when I'm like just taking pictures of like objects, or I don't know, like just like scenic photography or whatever it is. I just always reach for the telephoto. It's just my default. So, but all the hardware is
Alright.
pretty much the same this year. So it's the software side where we're really seeing the differences.
So it's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, somewhere around there, and I've taken a bunch of telephoto portraits, and those are by far the best looking pictures that I get out of this phone. And I feel like I have never had to. I feel like taking those extra few steps back hasn't been a problem, basically, for anything that I've been trying to capture. So just saying, maybe you need to like pick one up, try it out. Apple's got a 2-week
Maybe you
return
just need
policy.
to change.
But
Yeah,
then
just
maybe you just
switch.
need to like switch your entire like
Just be
thought process
better.
on life. Yeah, just get your stuff together, okay?
Well,
Do you call yourself a photographer? Like, who are you?
I know.
Okay, so what about the titanium frame though? We can all agree that that's so much better, right? Just the contoured edges, or
The biggest thing is
Sarah, I feel like
the
that was a
feel.
big sigh.
Well, it
Oh, you
wasn't
like
a
it?
sigh. It was more of it was more of like a I like it sigh. Because I feel
Okay,
like a
okay.
lot of reviews actually didn't emphasize just the feel. I would say that's the biggest improvement with the iPhone 15. I didn't notice until I was holding the iPhone 15 without a case how jarring the iPhone 14 actually was. Like the sharp edges looked so cool, but it's lighter, it's smoother, and this is like the perfect blend of I think the aesthetics of straight edges, but you have just, curved at the ends, and it feels fantastic.
It's honestly that was one of the things I did stress a lot in our video. We did like a mini review or whatever, and like that was the biggest thing for me. And people made fun of me because they're like, "Why would I buy a phone just based on like how much better it feels?" And I'm like, "I don't know." They're like, "We all
But
put a
that's
case
like-
on it
that's-
anyways." I'm like, "Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, but I don't." So like
Yeah.
it's a much better designed phone, and I know it seems minor, but like it's really not. There is
Well,
a
even in the
drastic difference
case,
to me.
Exactly, just the weight too, though. I can, you feel that. So I definitely, regardless if you have a case or not, I feel like it does make a big difference.
Are you guys? Well, I know Hartley's a case user. Are you a case user? Oh, by the way, part of this episode is we're going to talk about our favorite accessories. So,
Fun.
if you have a very specific case that you like, save that. But
Yeah, this is the first time that I've actually put a case on my iPhone in years.
okay,
I'm usually a caseless person, but it's one of those things where I dropped my iPhone 14 like a lot. And I will say it was
no.
built like a tank. I dropped it probably 17 times before it actually started cracking. That's not even an exaggeration. It was definitely over 10 times, like big drops. And so props, but that gave me a false, like a falsehood of, oh, it's never going to crack. And then it started cracking, and it started
Right.
cracking big, like to where I would be holding it without a case and I would have shards of glass in my hand.
Oh,
So
geez.
yeah, that changed me a little bit. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use a case for a little bit. I went
Harley,
with
have
the
you noticed a
normal.
major difference in weight with case? Oh, you got the Apple case?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it is still really noticeable without when using a case, but obviously you're not going to get all of the impact of that sort of curved glass and the nice new finish, and it does I do kind of forget a little bit of the difference when I put it in a case, but you can still tell there's a little bit more curvature. You can tell the glass is curved at the edges at the front, and obviously the weight is lessened, but I can't say that it's as good as when not using a case. That's why I do think the best thing is like what you do, Dan, where you sometimes use one and sometimes don't. Although I don't agree with your logic of like when you choose to do it, but I like the principle.
You know what? Now that you called me out on that, I've abandoned it. I've just said,
Oh,
screw
no.
it, I'm not using a case. Yeah. Like I said, I don't like to not have a case on a plane for some weird reason. And
I was hoping
I've
that someone would
traveled-
stop you on a plane using your case and call you out on it.
Nah. I just said whatever. I don't care. I do put a screen protector on because micro scratches on a screen really bothers me, but I don't apparently care about the rest of the body. So also pulling back the curtain on how we record, we usually use a different program, and now we're using something. This is what we use. It doesn't matter what we use, but it looks like I'm talking to a potato to both of you. I cannot
Oh, really?
make out what
no.
like Sarah. Yeah, like Sarah, like I know this is not how it's going to look to everybody, which is good. This is the reason why we switched to this, is because it records and uploads it later. And so we're not seeing the stream because a lot of people are like, I can't see Hartley, and Hartley has some internet issues. But like, I cannot see you guys basically at all. You held up your case, and I'm like, oh, a blob. Hey, look.
Oh my
Like,
I am on my other internet signal. Will it mess up
no,
if I switch?
oh, I would leave it. It's fine. I can
Okay.
make out who I'm talking to, but it's just funny when you said that. I was like, I have no idea what you're doing over there.
That's so funny.
Does it
Like
look- am I
Harley
blurry?
is a potato, but Dan, you're not a potato. So
Oh, Hartley, I'm sorry about your luck. Sarah, unfortunately, you're a potato. So,
I'm a full potato. Yeah.
but you are
Yeah,
a
I'm
whole
dumb.
potato
I
with
didn't-
the peach behind you.
Yeah. I didn't switch to my access point. That's like right outside my office. It's still in my like main living room
that's fine.
Wi-Fi. My bad.
Is this talk doing it for everybody? The recording quality, stream quality talk?
We need a whole
sure this is
episode
the
on this,
highlight.
Dan.
I would be fine with it. You know, we just sometimes you got to pull back the curtain and let everybody see
Yes, and just
how it is to
complain
do a
about how all
podcast.
tools suck. So we have so many
Yeah.
options, but nothing is ever perfect. I think that's what keeps the videos going, you know?
Well, speaking of no one's ever happy and nothing's ever perfect, how do you feel about the new Apple Watch? Did you get any of those?
I'm gonna be honest. I am so
You're not an Apple Watch person.
Not an Apple Watch person, and I tried, especially when I started taking working out seriously last year. But it actually gave me like more anxiety about it than anything. Like literally, when I keep track of stuff, it needs to be very simple. So when I work out, the fact that it's just a little dot on a calendar is enough for me. I'll get overwhelmed with the keeping track of stuff. And I know with the Apple Watch, it's very like automatic. But I'm like, I don't want to know how many steps I took today. Leave me alone. So yeah, I'll let you guys take the Apple Watch section.
Oh, we've talked about it enough, so we
Yeah.
could just move on. There's really nothing
And
to
there's
talk
not a
about
lot.
with the Apple
like,
Watch.
And that's the thing. There
Yeah.
hasn't been features that are so new, you know, over the past 5+ years that will get me to be like, I have to have a watch. You know, maybe if I was older or I had a health problem, obviously they emphasize that a lot, which I love those videos. You know, they hit you in the feels.
Oh, they do.
They really do. But other than that, yeah, I'm like, I just, most times if I need to know the time, I'll rock my Casio and move on with my life, you know?
Nice. Hartley, do you have anything else to say before we put the watch to bed?
The thing
for
is,
this podcast.
I need to stop hearing this down talk on using an Apple Watch, because I'm getting so tempted to stop using mine lately, and I can't not
Oh, are
use
other
it
people saying
anymore because of
this?
my job. Well, I feel like more and more people are kind of moving away from the Apple Watch, and I'm getting
Good.
weirdly
Okay.
tempted
I'm not alone.
to just, I don't know, like maybe just try a year without it. I don't know. I'm getting intrigued by that, because I get what you mean, that there's something about like wearing a device that is quite intimate, and it's sort of, I feel like I can't escape technology, and it's sort of like it's
Yeah,
making
and
me
you-
more sort of like anxious. I don't know, but I feel like I can't escape it. So maybe I just need to get a Series 9 and just accept my lot.
Yeah,
Don't worry, Apple. I won't leave.
The constant pings on the wrist. I could never figure out a good flow of notifications in between my phone and my watch. And I'm like, my phone I can leave in the other room, walk away from it, and it's not, right there pinging me. So that was a big part too. It's just like charging it every night. Couldn't keep up with that. Honestly, my AirPods and phone are enough, and just like figuring out notifications and the constant pings. I'm just like, I'm already so overstimulated. I'm good.
I just want to wear normal watches more. That's
also part of it for me.
Yeah.
See, I tried that too, but I don't like, there's something wrong with me. The ticking, when I'm in a quiet room and I'm trying to work, the constant ticking of an analog watch drives me insane. So I literally can only, if I'm at the airport or traveling, I can literally only wear like just a cheap digital watch that doesn't bother me. But they look nice. Nice analog
I guess I haven't
watches.
worn an analog watch in a long time. That might actually bother me too.
Yeah. Well, wear one and see if you notice it, because I'll be trying to have like focus work, and it'll just be like tick, 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 and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, this is a good segue into. No, they all know you. They all love you. This is going to be a good segue into our next topic, though, which is we're going to brush on Google's announcement yesterday. And so they did release another watch. I was just talking to Hartley before you came on that I feel like that is another like Series 9 type upgrade where they like fixed their processor because it was really slow. And then they were like, yeah, that's probably good. Like I was at the event and I couldn't even tell you what else they said about the Pixel Watch that like made me go, oh, that's really cool. I just thought, yeah, no, it looks the same, is the same, feels the same, same. So anyone else, but it's just the thing about the Pixel Watch is that it's a really nice looking circular watch, which is what I've been clamoring for from Apple for years, and I just know it's never going to happen, or at least not anytime soon. So does the Pixel Watch still do anything for you guys from a looks perspective and features and Fitbit and Google and all that stuff, or no?
Hartley?
For me, I think
I was like, anyone, don't all jump at once.
I think you could tell that I don't really care about not Apple devices, but I am intrigued.
Fanboy.
I am intrigued by seeing what competitors have to do, because for years, we talked about this a long time ago, Dan, about a circular Apple Watch, and now I've seen what that would look like. I feel like seeing the Pixel Watch and seeing that be iterated on, I'm kind of over it now. Like, I don't particularly want a circular Apple Watch anymore. Like, I see how that's working for Google. It's not something that really appeals to me.
It's not great for text.
Yeah, I don't think apps scale that well to it. And I don't know. Maybe it's just because Google's ecosystem isn't there yet.
You don't think Apple could figure it out?
No, I don't think
they've got watchOS down at this point.
Yeah.
How would stuff like, imagine your widgets that they've just introduced in watchOS 10, and they're these big fat rectangles. How's that going to look on a round screen? It just would look terrible.
Fix what's not broken, man.
Hartley and the rest of the world, Sarah, obviously, I'm going to let you two in, and then the rest of the people that listen to this into a secret of mine, in which I'll probably get ripped for. This Apple Watch gets used on my wrist for nothing else but the one time a month I decide to work out and not be a lazy piece of, we try not to swear on this podcast, keep it like a little kid friendly, but you know where I'm getting at. And if I get a phone call or an alert that I look at, and that's it. What are these widgets that you're telling me? Are you talking about these things that these little, who uses those? I never look at them.
What about reading a text message though?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've
here's my, you know what it is? I just got a Slack notification. You know what I do? I look at it and I'm like, if I see who it's from, I see potentially some of the keywords, and then that just triggers in my mind, is it worth me getting my phone out or not? That's all that it's used for. It's like a little micro assistant that says, hey, someone's bothering you. Figure out whether you want to do this or not. Otherwise, the watch is strictly just for looks, apparently. It just lives on my wrist and I can't take it off.
I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't use their Apple Watch as much as they think they maybe do.
Right. It's one of the most worthless to me. One of the most like I could live without it for sure, but I'm ingrained in my brain that I must always have this on my wrist. But I definitely could like you could if it was like I'm gonna take your phone away or Apple Watch, you choose forever. I'd be like, yeah, take my watch. I don't need this.
'Cause there's, like,
Absolutely
Or a
not.
better,
There's
what
two
about
categories.
AirPods or your watch?
My watch. Take it away.
Yeah.
I'll keep the AirPods for life.
I feel like-
AirPods, the amount of like use and like how revolutionary I feel like AirPods were in comparison to any other accessory is just crazy.
Although you've sparked another interesting topic that after we talk about Google's things, remind me that there's an AirPods. I want to talk about the AirPods updates and get your guys' thoughts on them because I don't know if we're all going to be on the same page. So that'll be interesting to talk about. But yeah, I mean, Harley, what were you going to say about the watch? I feel like you had something that you were
No,
jumping
I
at
was going
there.
to just say, I think there's like two categories of Apple device, or just these kind of devices in general, which is you've got the stuff that actually matters and is essential, stuff like the iPhone, stuff like AirPods, and stuff like the Mac. And then you kind of got everything else, like your Apple Pencil and your iPad and your Apple Watch, and they are great for some people, and a lot of us have them as kind of fun toys, but they're not really in the same class as your iPhone and your Mac and your AirPods. So we forget that split sometimes, but I do think it matters.
I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. Like when I travel, it definitely gets used a little bit more. So like, especially going to New York, which I feel like I live at over the last month. Like putting maps on your watch, that is helpful to be able to glance down and not take my phone out while I'm walking.
When I lived in New York and I was like booster boarding everywhere and Super 73ing, that's when I actually like had to force myself to use the Apple Watch for directions. So I will say, if you're living more in like a city environment and you're doing more walking and biking, it's almost like unavoidable. But I joined the rest of the
And,
world.
like,
I'm
using
car
it to-
life now.
Yeah, well, you've gone from one coast, mid coast, other coast.
So
in your
too much.
travel. So you know, yeah.
All the different lifestyles.
So I mean, like, I like to use it for like music controls too, but then like other than that, I mean, just kind of sits there. So what tying it back to the Pixel Watch, I don't know that any of that would bother me because I feel like it can do enough to get me the text that I need to be able to still use the watch the same. I just like the way it looks. I just think it looks nice. When they utilize their watch faces to like take up the entire screen and stuff, I think it looks better. Just personal opinion there. I know no one's going to agree with me on this podcast, but it's okay.
Yeah, we'll just leave the silence hanging there for that
I probably
one. Yeah,
care,
I mean,
as
gosh,
much
guys.
as Hartley about Google physical products. I'm like,
What about
first
the
few
well,
pixels
this
were-
isn't going to help my next. What about the
I mean,
Pixel?
the first few pixels were really cool. You know, we had more of an emphasis on computational photography, and I feel like the phones were so clean, and I love their colors. But I'm sorry, but the pixels are ugly. I don't like. I don't get it. I'm sorry.
What about that bay blue they just came out with yesterday?
I mean, just that
Nothing.
stripe of
Crickets.
a bump on the back is just too much for me,
Yeah.
man. It's like,
All right. Well,
I don't
the thing that I wanted to get your take on for the Pixel was the camera features that they announced because they very heavily leaned into like its processing power and some AI features that it uses with their new chip, and like some of it's a little creepy. So did you guys see yesterday when they were talking about some of the new camera features? There's one particular called Best Take, which is really helpful for honestly my wife and I when we're trying to get pictures of the kids and they're just like moving around, some are smiling. It's always like one kid that's never not smiling, and then when that kid decides to smile, the other two have completely lost interest and they're just doing something else, and it's like, damn it, like I wish I could combine like these,
Just
and that's
throw that
exactly what
kid
you
out.
can do, except but I like them, you know. You get attached to them. Yeah, I can't. Sometimes I wish I could, and other times I realize that you just gotta
they're fine.
keep
Yeah.
legally I have to keep them, I guess. So
Right.
no, but what you can do with Best Take is you take a bunch of pictures, let's say, and then you could click on the best take option, and then you click on there's like little bubbles at the bottom of the screen with people's faces, and you click on their face, and it gives you different faces from those different photos, and then you select which face you want, and it puts that new face on the picture. So you, in theory, have like a very quick Photoshop. They talked about generative AI a lot, and I don't know if that's what's going on in this particular like feature, but it basically fills in the face and fixes it to be like, oh, that was a natural photo. And so like nothing is real anymore, basically, because that is a complete fabricated lie, because that picture never happened in theory. So like, how do you guys feel about features like that? Do you think it's cool, or?
Yeah, if they are doing like a Photoshop type thing and combining photos, I mean, that's cool. And anything that helps with curation in the age of taking 50 photos of one situation, I'm always going to be down for, because I think the problem with smartphone photography is people just don't care anymore about all of the other important parts of taking a photo, like caring about composition, wiping off your lens if it's a little smudgy. It's like the basic stuff that maybe, like, you know, taking a photo with a film camera versus an iPhone. It's just, I wish people would like pretend like it was a film camera when they're taking their iPhone pictures, because just the intentionality isn't there. So anything that helps take the 100 photos that you just fired off and make those better, totally down. If they're like doing the Photoshop thing, if they're doing some weird Gen AI and like recreating humans' faces, that, I mean, that's dumb. But if it's still their face and you're just taking it from another photo, I think that's great. I think that's awesome.
It's still their face, but there is some sort of AI or some sort of like
maybe
digital
in the gaps
computational
of,
like it's something's making your face, because like it's got to match, because your body stays the same. It's just your facial expression, because you pick the one photo that you're like, hey, I liked this one, but like this guy wasn't smiling, and so then it'll change the people's faces, but the rest of your body. So it's like when it happens, if I was just to show you the picture, you wouldn't think anything of it. But when you watch it happen in real time, it kind of trips you out a little bit, because you're like, that's not real. That's not a real photo.
Yeah. But that's what Google should be doing.
I do think it's really cool,
you know,
personally.
That's cool. It's like, that's what we need from Google stuff.
Hartley, don't you dare tell me that you don't care.
No, I quite like that. I quite like that.
Okay. You have to have an opinion on this, man.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I do kind of wish Apple would do. I feels like Apple's always behind Pixel for these sort of things. I will say I really like on the iPhone 15 Pro the ability to everything is a portrait photo, and you can select the subject after. And I've really enjoyed playing around with that. It's not even been that long, and it's already really useful. And just, it's so instant the way you can change the focus, and it looks so natural in the way that the hairs are picked out. But that's not on the same scale as what the kind of stuff I feel like Google comes out with every year.
So
I would love a curated feed from Apple, because they're already doing the like the summaries, you know, and like the flashbacks and stuff. I would love just another folder in the camera roll that was like a curated camera roll, and there's 0 screenshots. They don't have to do the crazy Google Photoshop, but they just take the best take, you know. They take the 20 photos that you took at brunch and pick one, right? And I think that would be so helpful, not just for people who are trying to like relive memories, but also when it comes to like offloading to your computer. Oh, only take the curated feed. I don't need the 10 screenshots of analytics I had to take for Instagram to show my kids in 20 years, you know? I think a lot of work can be done on that back end, because I don't know what y'all's camera roll looks like, but mine is like hundreds of the same photo of my cat. I don't need all of those.
Yeah. So that's where Apple needs to fix. It could make everybody's life so much easier. 2 things. 1, screenshots never show up under all photos ever. They go into a screenshot folder, which already exists, and it stays there. It never needs to be in your main camera roll ever. And then if you just recognize using, you know, if AI is the buzzword that gets this done, but however they can figure out a way for your photo library algorithm to take the photos that look identical and just make them into, and I thought this already kind of like was a thing that was going to happen, but I guess not. And just like you said, put them in like a stack, basically. There's one photo. Maybe it has a little number in the bottom right corner letting you know that there's like 10 other ones of these that are very similar. And then you can like long press or something, and it brings you into that stack. I don't know how to do it, but like to me, that would just help so that everything just looks better and it's like clutter free. But
Yeah,
I'd
love that.
I think we can all get down. Yeah, I mean, maybe
I
in
feel
iOS
like
18.
it's just such an insurmountable task when you've got to go back through your whole photos library, and you just know that there's so much stuff in there that you need to delete and just make decisions about. Like, when I don't want to have to work out which of these 10 photos of something I want to keep, I want it to just tell me. I don't mind deleting them, but how do I even choose? So I would really like something like that. I think that's a really good one for our iOS 18 wish list, actually.
I'm trying to right now like get a lot of my memories in the physical with like photo books and stuff. So I'm kind of obsessing with this right now, and it is the biggest problem, I think, is like people just take so many photos, but because people aren't having to put photos in photo books or like take out slides, what our grandparents did, there's less focus and less intention with this like curation part, and that's how you relive these memories. So I think that's going to be huge. I think it's a huge problem to solve.
So another photo feature that's very similar, kind of, and this one definitely is a generative AI type feature that they use, or generative fill, like basically taking what Photoshop can do. So you take a picture, and they had Magic Eraser. That was the thing that everybody thinks is pretty cool, I feel like. And now they have Magic Editor. So the example that they showed me was that there's a little girl on a beach, and she's like pretty close in the back, like near the water. And all she did was tap on the girl. It was like highlighted. And then she was able to resize her and move her into a different part of the picture. And when she did that, it looked totally normal. Like no one, like it was weird again that I was watching her do this. But yeah, it was like one touch
Why do you
Photoshop.
need to do that though?
And then she can also, I don't know. Well,
Yeah, that was
so
my
like,
question.
so that was a
You're
obscure
like changing the
like
actual photo.
right. Well, I mean, if you wanted to, you could. Like if something was not positioned properly, was there like explanation for that? You could. Like if you were in the moment, you were trying to take a picture and it didn't look good, you could kind of change that moment. Again, reality not being this like actually reality. But then you can make it even worse on top of it. And I still think it's really cool, but I just don't know how much I would use this. You can change the sky. Like if there's like golden hour effects. So and it really does look natural. Like it looks realistic. You can change the color of the sky. You can change the waves in the background. To make them, she didn't like show me what was, but like we were thinking like, is there a tsunami behind her? Or like, what are we changing with the waves? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some
maybe
of
she
that.
meant like the color temperature.
Yeah, I mean with.
So how do you feel about that? I think the most common use case, real quick, was that you can like one touch remove things, and it'll fill stuff in the background. So if you had a car blocking the shot, you can remove the car, and it'll use generative fill and generative AI to like, yeah. That was not the demo she showed me personally, but that was what they talked about on stage.
Yeah, I can't see me taking like a picture of my child and being like, "Oh, let's move you 10 feet to the right," just because like I don't know, that's so freaking random. But I mean, I've used
and let's make you bigger.
Yeah, that's weird. But like Luminar AI has done this for a while and stuff with sky replacements. I will say like that. If you're subtle with it is great, because I can't tell you how many like midday 2 p.m. sunny pictures I have where the people and the scenery is nice, but then the sky is just white and it kind of just ruins the picture. So yeah, the sky replacement is handy, the removing objects is handy, but I think most of this stuff is more gimmicky to show. They're like, hey, more things to talk about. When in reality, the majority of people are probably not going to use this stuff. It makes me wonder, not just Google, but even sometimes with what Apple releases, like, do they actually talk to real humans? And do they ask them, what are your needs? Like, not once, but what are your needs? I would say that curation problem is a need. And the removing of, a soda can in the front, like that's great. All of us have been doing that in Photoshop forever. So yeah, it's hard. This like AI world we're in, so much of it is gimmicky that it's really hard to focus on what people actually need.
I agree. I really like the idea of some of these tools, and it's undoubtedly very cool. But if I imagining myself, if I was in another reality, a Pixel user, I know that those tools would just cause me stress because I can just feel the decision fatigue already of like, do I need to change the lighting in this photo? Probably, maybe, which setting? And all of that, it introduces more decision making. And I would really like the real power of where AI gets interesting to me is that I don't actually have to make the decisions at all, that I can just flick a single switch and it suggests what it thinks I should do, and that it's already calculated which the best setting is. So, you know, there's a big difference for me between the ability to do it to begin with and then actually having it suggested in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of the suggestions are in a good way too. You know, maybe moving people might be a little weird, but so there's two other features that I want to talk about that Google announced that, again, we take them always back to Apple, which is what I wanted you guys to do, and I'm glad you're doing it, because that's kind of the whole point of like, these are some features that I think would actually be kind of useful. And I just don't know if Apple will ever do this. And one of the other ones along the lines of photos and videos is that if you're taking a video, and so the example here was somebody was playing a cello on the street in New York, and someone was filming them, but there was a fire truck coming with a siren. And so what this new editor can do, I forget the name, it's like Magic Audio Editor or something like that. It identifies all of the sounds and then gives you levels to be able to reduce them completely, turn them down. And I just thought that was really cool too, especially for somebody who, I think I just tweeted like 2 days ago that voice isolation in Final Cut Pro and like wherever Apple implements it is so good that like we need this in more places.
Resolve in Premiere.
Yeah. That's effectively what this is, basically, is like taking the noises and being able to isolate them if you want to. And so is that something that you guys would use on your iPhone if you were able to take videos like that?
See, and there, it's nice that they gave you the control where you can, you know, just turn it down, because, you know, it would be very strange to see a fire truck with a siren going behind, but then there'd be no siren. So I like that, you know, if they offer that control to just turn it down. I mean, that's huge, because yeah, a bad audio can ruin a video, but very rarely does like a potato like video like ruin everything if the audio is fine. So I think emphasis on audio everywhere has been so great. And I think that's what we're seeing with like the commoditization of these AI features, is everyone is just going to add everything into their own apps, into their own software and hardware. And the people who are really going to get fudged over are these companies who went and raised hundreds of millions of dollars on a few features that are just being added in other apps that people already use. That's, yeah, a whole other discussion. But I just find it very interesting how quickly these features are getting packaged up and they're being put in places we actually use them, which is great. Good for us, you know?
I think that really Apple's the one that we need to see really start implementing these features. I mean, Apple likes to now in their shareholder meetings start throwing around, you know, AI, and Tim Cook sometimes talks about it now, but we're just not seeing them really. Not in ways that we understand that to be generative AI in the sort of conventional sense. I mean, it is there. It is there behind a bunch of features like fall detection and crash detection. That is an AI-driven feature, but we don't really sort of think of it like that until we can remove stuff from photos, or until we've got we think of it really simply like background fill, and like it's not AI unless the AI is making a thing that I can see or hear. But you know, I hope that will come.
And there's,
I mean, Apple's still really behind
low-hanging
with this.
fruit. Yeah, like there's low-hanging fruit too, because you can already, you know, select the subject in a photo, have a little animation, and, you know, copy and paste it somewhere. But how great would it be for in the Photos app to just create, I'm using Photoshop terms, but they don't have to do this. They can make a simple version of this where, you know, you create 2 layers and now you can only brighten up the subject or only brighten up the background, you know, to expand those features. Like, they've already done the hard work. Now all they have to do is say, oh, if you click on the effects controls, now you're only controlling the subject or only controlling the background. They've already done the legwork for this stuff, but yeah, they really haven't pushed it to the level you would think, or that people would want, I feel like. Because people who have iPhones are very serious about photos, you know, they would love that.
Have you made stickers of your pets?
I haven't yet. I need to. Of my pets. It's just one cat that I'm just obsessed with. Yeah.
toss a little sticker in a conversation. It brightens everybody's day.
That's smart. Yeah.
I feel like what we really need is bring Aperture back. I feel like people.
Oh no, it got shut down. Well, so long ago.
But yeah, but bring it back. Like that's
were you
that's
tweeting
what
about
Sarah's
that?
talking about. You know,
Someone
splitting
was
layers.
tweeting about that, and I
No,
agreed.
but I feel like everyone says it every now and then. Like I think everyone would
Yeah,
just be
yeah,
happy
yeah.
if that came back, because people that do want to delve a little bit more into editing their photos and don't want some people want a simple experience. I think that's fine. The Photos app's fine for that. But sometimes I do want to edit a photo, and I want to delve into layers and isolating things, and with the sort
And
of
Lightroom
tools
can
that we
be
have
so
now,
clunky
Aperture could be
sometimes.
great now. Yeah, and Apple used to be so good at these pro tools. Final Cut is still great, and you just imagine like Aperture on the iPad. It would be so useful.
So let's quickly move on because we said we were going to talk about favorite accessories, and we're cutting it close to time here. But I just wanted to bring up. Do you enjoy the new AirPods Pro features? The adaptive, what is it?
They're annoying.
Transparency?
as hell.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all.
Adaptive,
I tried
right?
it.
I think they're a little annoying.
Yeah,
They work well, but they work. They're. Go ahead.
and
Go ahead.
also,
Share your frustrations.
I don't know if it's like allergies or whatever, but I have some congestion right now. I've generally always been a sniffly person, but it's kind of bad. It's very bad right now. So I'll just like sniffle or and it just completely I'll be listening to a podcast and I'm like, I don't need to hear my throat clear. I want to hear the podcast. I just missed the 5 seconds, And so I think right now it's a little bit too extreme. I turned it off immediately. And even instead of, for some
It's
reason,
aggressive.
yeah, there was like a plane above me, and instead of like, maybe turning on more noise cancellation, it opened it up for me to hear the airplane more. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. So for me,
like
it was. Oh, go ahead, Hartley.
I
And then
like
I'll give
it,
you my thought.
but I'm confused by it. So I sort of forget what's happening every day. It's like I feel like my AirPods are switching modes, and I don't know why. But I like it when it works well, and someone comes into the room and they start talking to you, and your audio kind of fades down in the background, and it turns it off of noise cancellation into transparency. That's really cool. But other times I just don't know why it's changing. And then I sort of think, is something gone wrong? My thought isn't to remember that this feature exists, but it'll get there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I forgot
who does
that it was
it
a thing.
well?
Who?
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Well, I was just gonna say, I forgot that it was a thing. And the other day, I'm eating lunch. I'm alone in New York City. New York City is very jam packed, and like there are two people next to me, and they're having a conversation. And my AirPods are like, "No, you don't want to watch a video. That you're
Talk
part
to
of this
them."
conversation. It's rude. Turn your stuff down." And I'm like, "What is happening?" And I forgot, and I'm like, "God damn it! I gotta turn this off. This is making me angry."
With that,
my
there
friend
has to be
my
some
friend
level of
texted me
control.
about it and was like, "This has to be cool." Yeah, I know. It's too aggressive.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where Sony, why am I blanking on the name? I hate their naming scheme. The WH, the big headphones, the X5 or whatever.
Yes.
1000
XM5s.
Yeah, I think I said the right letters and numbers out of order. They have this thing where, they have the capacitive touch on the outside. So you can change it to where when you put a hand over the outside of the headphone, it'll lower the volume and turn on kind of that transparency mode so you can hear what the coffee barista is saying to you or something. And I think that's the best blend, is where the feature's there, but you control it, right? When you need to hear someone, so you can just do like a simple tap or just like, cover, and I feel like maybe you could do that with AirPods. Of course, they're smaller, but I think that's where those features are good, because it's never something like that. It's never going to be perfect. For me, the control of just
You can't read the
long
context,
press for
right?
noise
That's the issue.
canceling. Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Is no matter how good the AI is, they don't know if you want to talk to someone or not.
Yeah.
It's never going to be able
Totally.
to calculate that. So you do need kind of more intuitive ways of interacting with AirPods. But I haven't turned it off yet.
Totally.
I'm still open to kind of just going with it and just being surprised when I'm now hearing something, or my audio just vanishing. It keeps things interesting.
It keeps you on your toes.
It just keeps.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah. It's just like, wait, no, where are you going? Song, don't leave. Oh, it's my AirPods just doing it on purpose. All right, so we don't have a whole lot of time. This whole episode was, in theory, supposed to be about Apple accessories, but I liked the conversation that we had. But the reason why was last time we talked, you were just about to launch your Lab 22 stuff,
Yeah.
and then
Now they're in
and then
stock.
I
Took a
didn't
while, though.
I never had them. Yeah, they're in stock, and I actually have some, and so I was
no,
like,
now Dan
we were going to
froze.
talk about our favorite accessories.
Am I frozen?
And I'm not joking, and I'm not doing this for you. Not that I wouldn't for you, but I'm not just doing this because you're on the episode. If me and Hartley were just doing this ourselves, the iPad stand that you guys made is it's so good.
Thank you.
It's the best iPad stand you can possibly get.
Thank you.
In my opinion. It's right up
That
there
means
with
a ton.
a couple of others, but that is
Means
my
a ton.
favorite one for sure.
Because it's
Yeah.
niche, right? It's for people who like the iPad, going down lower to write notes, or like it vertical, horizontal. And I definitely I have my iPad in it all the time. It's been a challenge just because there's a reason why a lot of these iPad stands are made of plastic and really shitty. Sorry,
Right.
let me say that
Yeah.
again because you don't.
No, it's okay.
There's okay.
No. You can. No, screw. We'll just everybody cover your ears
Yes.
after the fact that
because
she already said it.
Because it's expensive to ship, and it's a lot once something weighs a ton. But and it has to be more expensive. But for me, it's just like you want something that you're not going to have to replace once a year, right? And your iPad is your iPad. It's your baby. You need something solid. And for illustrators or note takers who want it in that down position, it's something that's going to be solid but also looks good. So I appreciate the love. Thank you.
So we're gonna
many
do
years.
each category, and that is my iPhone/iPad. That's my iPhone and iPad selection. And Sarah, you can make any iPhone or iPad accessory that you like, but it cannot be the one that you made yourself. That's cheating.
Oh,
I already
bummer.
claimed it.
Okay.
So
Okay. I will say, I think still to this day, my favorite iPhone accessory is the Anchor MagSafe battery with the little flap that comes out. That's also a stand. Because I don't know what my problem is, but I always end up having to again, I'm a little bit of a mess, so sometimes I just forget to charge my phone, and so I'll be even at the house just running around, and I just slap on a MagSafe battery. But the Apple ones are just so pointless, and they're so slow, and they have no charge. And so I really like I think it's the Anchor version where it's also a stand. So, I could be listening to a podcast or scrolling on Twitter, and it still will elevate my phone. And then iPad accessory. Oh my gosh, I want to say my own stand.
Oh, you only had to do. You can do one, but it's iPhone and iPad, so you only had to pick one for this category. They were combined.
Okay.
But if you wanted to throw an iPad out, we're not gonna.
My iPad, just
Okay.
my iPad stand. So there you go. Lab 22 iPad stand.
It's a good stand. We'll allow it.
you.
We'll allow it. Hartley, what about you? You pick one from that category.
Well, this is an unconventional view, I feel like, because when I tweeted about this earlier this week, everyone just tore into me over this, which is I love the Apple silicone cases. I feel like they are so
gross.
underrated. Yeah, see,
like
I know.
the
I don't know why
stickiness.
everyone
in the
hates
in the
them.
car. They don't
No.
like move. I'm with you, Hartley.
Yeah, I feel everyone says to me that they crack and the silicone peels off, and I'm thinking, what are these people doing with their cases? They look as good as new for me years later. It's literally like absolutely, you could not tell if I put it back in the box, you would just not know that case had been used. And I'm not babying it, so I love it. It wears way better for me than the leather cases. I didn't go with fine woven this year. But yeah, I love them. I love the way that they're kind of grippy, but not too much, and the buttons still feel great. And there's always some nice colors to choose from. It's really reliable. I know what I'm getting every
Dan
time.
is so upset right now.
It's not the durability. I am very upset. It's not the durability. It's the damn micro hairs and like fibers that it picks up. Like when you put it in your pocket, and out comes if I use the white one, like you tweeted in that photo, which made me cringe because I just have PTSD flashbacks when I thought that was a great idea for me to buy a white silicone case. And then I put it in my pocket, blue jeans pocket. I pulled it out and it was blue. And I'm like, this
But
is not going to be sustainable.
That case in that picture was 2 years old, and I wear jeans all the time.
Do you
So
wear
it was
pants?
fine.
You wear jeans.
Yeah.
I
Do
just
you wear
assume you never
pants?
wear pants ever. You're just
Yeah,
walking around without pants
You
on.
wouldn't know, right, on the podcast, so...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wearing any pants right now. No. No, I mean, I don't know, man. And then like we have pets, and like they shed a lot, and so their hair gets stuck to it. It just picks up a
Nothing
lot
sticks
of.
to it for me. Like, just nothing.
Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know
Have
what
they changed it?
Am I getting different cases to everyone else? Nothing
Well,
sticks
it's been
to
a
it
few
to me.
years. It's been a few years for me. I don't use a case anymore, so maybe I got to give it another shot.
I think you should. I think you should. I think they're worth
All
it.
right. We'll try to do rapid fire here. All right, what's our favorite Mac accessory? I won't go first. I'll let somebody else go first.
Can it be software?
You want to go,
I'm
Sarah?
gonna pick somebody. It could be anything.
Can
Yeah,
it?
software. I think software
Okay.
works.
That's a good one.
It's like for the past couple years, I've really enjoyed Things. It's a to-do app. It's Apple
Oh,
only,
no.
so sometimes it becomes an issue because my main computer is Windows, but I really like Things. And the Mac app is beautiful. Like
You
the
see
quick
that
insight.
excitement? Hartley has never been this excited for anything I have ever said in my entire. We've been doing this podcast for like, I don't know how long, over 100 episodes now, and he's never had that
yes.
reaction before. You just like.
I love it. It is the best third-party app on any
It's
Apple
quick.
device.
It's
It
clean,
is just.
effective.
It is so perfect. I don't want to do a whole episode about that, Dan. You can do, on my birthday.
I'm not.
Let's do a Things
not.
3 episode. Come on.
Whatever. I'm down. I like maybe not the entire episode about Things 3, but we can spend a good portion.
Or you could do a productivity
Just for
episode.
you.
That'd be
Happy
good.
birthday. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
Things 3, that would be our lowest listened to episode of all time. Just the
by me.
people that are like you
never
guys.
know.
Maybe we have to look into it. All right, Harley, what's your
Okay.
favorite Mac accessory or software?
My
That's not Things 3.
favorite. I'll go for hardware because you know what I would choose if we're going for software.
Yeah.
I have been using the Keychron K3 for the past 2 years,
Nice.
1.5 years, and it is a ultra slim mechanical keyboard. And for me, it's just the perfect middle ground between really traditional mechanical keyboards that have a lot of key travel. It's a little bit too much for me. It's not really what I'm used to. But then, I find Apple's normal Magic keyboards just a little bit too shallow, and it's just perfectly in between. And I can choose the switches that I like. I choose some really noisy ones, so I can annoy anyone in the same room as me. It's perfect. I like the kind of a little bit cringy RGB lights, but no one else sees them, so it's fine. And it charges with USB-C. Really great experience. Really like it.
It's a solid keyboard. For me, it's really boring unless you shoot video, but it's the OWC dual SD card reader. I mean, what's better than being able to import footage really, really fast with one SD card, being able to do two? So I could not think of anything else that was good. And all of my hardware products are OWC. So shout out OWC. You win this one. Okay, let's do home, and I'm gonna throw in a little wrench. It doesn't have to be an Apple accessory. It could just be like if there's something in your house that's semi-tech related, a vacuum. I don't know, your bed. Tell me something. What's your favorite home tech product, accessory, thing you can't live without? Sarah, we'll start with you.
Okay, I feel like I'm not allowed to say this just because they're a sponsor of mine, but because I'm about to do a video. But I just
But
got
if you
a
genuinely
sleep
like
number
it, that's
bed.
fine.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah. For the
Okay.
past few months, I've been using
Yeah.
a fancy sleep number bed, and it's one of those that you can. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I don't want to equate it to a hospital bed, but you know how in hospital beds you can just go all the way up. That has been so cool, whether I'm watching TV or I need a little elevation. And then going back to me not wearing an Apple Watch and not having something physically, it is cool to have sleep data that I don't have to worry about charging a device or having it on me while I sleep, but it's just in my bed. I like that. So that's actually been really cool.
So ours are kind of related. I also have a sleep number bed.
Yeah.
But lately I've been using the 8 Sleep pod cover, which if you're wondering how it's possible for it to be on a Sleep Number bed and use the 8 sleep, it's not really supposed to be like that. But basically, it renders our Sleep Number bed ineffective in terms of like doing all the things that Sarah loves, which is raising it.
Yeah.
Like I cannot raise it; it might explode, and there'll be water everywhere. So that I am a little sad about. But what this pod does, aside from give you amazing sleep tracking, is 2 things that I think are the reasons why I was testing it. They sent it to us, so full disclosure, they're not a sponsor, but I was testing it and I ended up loving it. And the 2 main reasons why is, 1, it can cool your side of the bed. My wife is hot, my wife is cold. She's hot too. Let's just give her a shout out. But she's she's cold. Usually I am always like temperature hot. And so, that is the fighting of like who turns on the what. I just beef my bed up to being like -5. I don't think that's like the actual temperature, but that's just like how many steps you do to cool it. And I am like so comfortable all night. It adjusts to you all like throughout the night, and like will when you want to wake up, apparently you want to be a little bit warmer and not cold. So it'll like adjust itself throughout to keep you in a good sleep, and then when it's time to wake you up. And bonus is that you can have alarms. My wife is horrible. She does not wake up with an alarm like on the first try. It's like 17 alarms set for like 5:05 in the morning if she's got to go somewhere early, 5:06, 5:07. I'm like, what are you doing? You're driving me insane.
Yes.
So there's like a vibration alarm on each side of the bed, and it works so well. It gets me up immediately. I can still kind of feel hers, but at least it's a little more gentle and not as jarring as like hearing the horrible iPhone alarm. So the only thing is now it just like our very expensive bed that we spent way too much on now can't do half of what it's good for.
We'll see.
But I don't know. It might be worth it. So we'll see.
You could have gotten the Climate 360.
I know.
Is what I got. And so I can have all those features with all of my other Sleep Number features.
So
feels like an ad
at
right
the time when we bought our bed, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. No, it's such a
Yeah.
good ad because the Sleep Number's bed,
Yeah.
the Sleep Number beds are worth it. It's 1/3 of your life, definitely. If you can afford it, jump in on it. But like the Climate 360 was way too much at the time, and I couldn't convince my wife to like pull the trigger. And
It's
she's
a
like, I don't want to be
commitment.
cold.
Yeah.
And like I get it. So
Yeah.
it is. So Hartley, what about you? Any good sleep stuff?
No, I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction. So I would say my Philips Hue bulbs, which I feel like is a fairly like common thing in everyone's smart home. But I'm going to go for a single little thing, which is really affordable.
Okay.
It's like $30 or $40, and it is an Aqara air quality monitor with a little e-ink display, and it shows you your air quality, it shows you your humidity, and it shows you your temperature. It uses little like round batteries from AirTags. It lasts for ages. It connects to HomeKit. I can use it for automations. And if even if I don't want to use it for automations, it's just a neat little smart connected thing on my desk. I love it. I think it's like one of the best smart home things because you don't actually need to use the smart functionality if you don't want to. So many sensors don't have any sort of display, so it's not that useful. But the e-ink just is really handy, and I think that's really like super affordable.
I have the AirThings View Plus, which is very similar, and we actually do use that quite a bit to like. We can almost kind of tell if someone's sick in the house because the air quality like immediately takes a dive up. Which is
Open up
an
windows.
oxymoron. Now that I realize that you can't dive. Yeah, so we gotta fix the air quality when that number starts rising. So yeah, I really like that same concept because I don't ever look at it on my phone. Honestly, it's just like when I walk by, it illuminates and I see the useful info that I need. And then if I want like more info, I can go on my phone. So I agree. All right, the last one is the other category that we wrote, which. I mean, could just be anything. Is there any accessory or piece of tech that you have been digging lately? Now's your chance. Give it a quick shout out. Hartley, you go first. We'll let Sarah think because she's hot off the guard on these ones.
Also would always recommend a Withings Smart Scale. I think they're great. I love the way all the health data syncs to the health app. It's really effortless. I just step on it every morning. I like it. Even gives you little fireworks on the new year, like your Apple Watch, but it's on your scale, and it tells me the weather first thing in the morning. Like I'm looking down anyway. Tell me the weather.
Yeah, my scale gives me anxiety.
Yeah, not related.
I look at the scale and it looks back at me, and I'm like, not today, dude. Not today. Yeah.
I do not need a
I think
smart
I think it
scale.
makes it more fun. You can configure what shows up on there, and I just think it's just really easy to use.
Something that I just got that I still need to unbox is Deity has this like super fancy clapper sync thing. Wow, I'm terrible. What is the proper name for that? Like recently I'm filming this like series, and I basically had all my shots laid out for different episodes and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is why professional video people use the audio sync, and they write their scenes. And what is that called? Am I crazy? The clapper thing.
I just call it the clapper, the clapboard.
Yeah. What'd you say, Harley?
I don't know. That makes sense.
Clapperboard.
Yeah, clapperboard. Okay, so we'll just go with it. So they have a super fancy one. It's like $1,000, and you can sync like time code with it, and it has like a digital screen. It's just like the fanciest, because usually those things you can buy like for $30 on Amazon. And so I love filmmaking gear that just hasn't been reinvented forever. And then someone just comes along and just makes like the fanciest version ever of it. I just got that. And so I haven't used it yet, but I am super excited. It's going to be so overkill for like the 4-episode thing I'm making. But yeah.
I was just going to say, I absolutely do not need this, but I want one. It's so
Right?
the clapboard is correct for like the standard
Okay.
name for it, but Deity calls it the time code slate, which I'm just looking at this and I'm like, damn, I want this for absolutely no reason at all. Yeah.
But hey, put it on a shelf when you're not using it. It looks cool in filmmaking,
Yeah, Deity, if you're listening, I'll take one and put it in the background of my videos. And that's about it. So that's a total good use case for it. Maybe one day I'll be on a feature set or something, but as of right now,
it's still helpful.
my
if
last
you're filming
thing is
a lot of things out of order.
Yeah. I mean, I'll figure out a way to use it. My thing is the Sonos Move 2 just came out, and I just got one, and it's great. I'm a big fan of anything Sonos, very biased towards them, so I don't think they can do any wrong personally. And I really loved my original Sonos Move, and this improves on some features that I just didn't like on the last one, things that bothered me, and then the sound quality got a little bit better, so 10 out of 10 for me if you're looking for a portable, good speaker. Yeah, that's a lot. This is a big episode, a really good one. I really liked it. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. I think everybody knows where to find you, but if you want to plug anything, are you able to plug your series yet or no? Are we still kept in the dark for that?
No, and it's for like a branded thing, so it's going to be on like a brand's YouTube channel, so it's not even something that I would like, if they find it, they find it.
Like the Mercedes thing you did was cool.
Oh yeah, that was super fun. That was like a very professional set that I was on, and it reminded me how it was an honor, first of all, but it reminded me how grateful I am to have a platform like YouTube where you can just do what you want, but yeah, it's always super cool to be a part of big productions. Exactly. But it's good to have stuff like that occasionally to just peek behind the curtain and, get to meet really cool DPs and fancy tech guys who are rigging up crazy things. I mean, it's just such a different world to be on a like 50-person set, But yeah, you can just Google me, Sara Dietschy, on the Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I'm taking a little bit of a YouTube break, but I'm still putting out stuff. I'm just having one of those like creative crises where I'm just making kind of random stuff right now because I'm kind of burnt out on tech. So I'll get back to tech. I just need to make some random videos real quick.
That's okay.
Yeah, you just got to do that every now and then.
I feel it. I support it. All right, everyone go follow Sarah. She has the ultimate flex. She can say Google me and things pop up. So that is the ultimate flex in my opinion.
Name.
That is the best.
Yeah.
My old boss used to do that. He would introduce himself and they'll be like, "Oh, what do you do?" And he said, "Just Google me." And I'm like, "God, that's so cool." Like
that's awesome.
Like that is the ultimate flex.
That's awesome.
But yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
and
for having me.
we hope to have you on again in the future.